You guys found out my biggest secret. What did you expect? For this not to be a government-funded PSYOP? I'm kidding. Right hand to God. Right hand to God. I am not with the CIA, guys. Anyway, now that that's over and dealt with, I am going to be answering more of your guys' questions. Present haul? You enjoyed the holidays, right? If not, sending virtual hug. Okay, so this question is from December and it is currently February, but I will show you guys what I got for Christmas. Okay, so first on the list was a Panzerfaust, which I did end up getting, which is super cool. So it's a reproduction, it's from At the Front. I did also get a PPSH-41 airsoft submachine gun. So you can tell it is super duper cool and I can't wait to use it for my future Soviet impressions. On the topic of Soviet impressions, I did also get a Soviet uniform handbook. If you have any kind of guns, which one do you like and why? So I have this super awesome sauce, M9130 Mosin Nagant. Pardon my butchered pronunciation, I do not speak Russian either. This was produced in 1943 in Izhevsk. And it is super duper awesome sauce and I can't wait to use this one either. What has been your favorite history-related travel destination you have been to? I love the Military History Museum in Vienna.
It is a massive castle with stuff ranging from the 1600s to 1945. Unfortunately, the World War II exhibit did close down for renovation 2 years ago or so. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. I did go last summer and I was extremely bothered by the fact that they had it closed down because I was really excited to see that again. But regardless, their World War I exhibit was absolutely wonderful and phenomenal, and they do have this whole little trench thing that I took a picture of, a video of, so here's that. Another honorable mention that I still really miss to this day is the Hungarian Military History Museum that was near the Buda. Here's a picture of an SS Kradmelda that was there. This was my favorite. I remember I went back to this one. There was a lot of Nyilaskerestes stuff, and then right there next to it is SSP camo, which I thought was pretty cool as well. Here's my last remaining relic of the museum, and this is a Soviet dog gas mask. I really miss this museum. Please open it back up.
Are there any uniforms you don't have but you would like to gain at some point?
Plenty. Off the top of my head, I want East German and World War I German Luftstreitkräfte uniforms, Kriegsmarine and Luftwaffe ground unit uniforms, Volkssturm and Luftschutz, World War I Doughboy, World War I Russian, World War II Red Army Commissar. The list actually goes on practically forever.
And there is plenty more that I am working on that you will all see eventually. Do you have any good stories or even just a shout out for a militaria supplier? So I'm actually partnered with War Militaria. Now War Militaria makes reproductions of Germany from the First and Second World Wars. While they focus mostly on Germany, they do have a lot of other stuff such as fascist Italy, the Soviet Union, France, Croatia, and Spain. And don't forget to use my code Officer Amira for 10% off of your whole order. This goes under the vouchers section on your shopping cart summary. What's your favorite helmet? My favorite helmet is probably the early Stahlhelm models. This is an early Wehrmacht photo comparison of the M18 Stahlhelm and the M35 Stahlhelm, both with eagle decals. These were both commonly in use in the early years of the Second World War, most notably from 1939 to 1940. I think the M18 looks especially sick with this decal. But I am also a huge fan of the M16 from the First World War and also from the Wehrmacht's transitional period. Alright. How many people are asking you to make OnlyFans? Can you never set up an OnlyFans? Will you make an OnlyFans? Do you have an OnlyFans? No. Of course not. Seriously though, listen, I'm here to make content about things I love, and doing that isn't really in my area of interest, so no thank you. Favorite World War II gun? My favorite World War II gun is specifically the Sniper K98K. The scope adds another level of badassery to the gun, but unfortunately adds a 0 to the price tag as well. In terms of small arms, I really love the Nagant M1895 revolvers, which were sidearms used by some Soviet officers in the Second World War. The last favorite I'm going to be listing is the Mosin Nagant. As you may know from the earlier moments of this video,
I do love a good Mosin-Nagant. I actually do plan on getting a scoped one eventually. Those are a lot cheaper than scoped K98Ks. Actually, I think it's the MG34. Sorry.
What does your name means? Officer Amira? Well, Officer means officer in German, and Amira is my name. You can say Amira.
You may also call me Officer Amira if you feel so inclined to do so, because it sounds just about the same and it still has the same ring to it.
Have you considered the American Civil War? Absolutely. Definitely plan on doing that eventually. Which uniform of the American Civil War do you like more? The uniform of the Northerners or of the Southerners? The Northerners by a long shot. What decade are you most interested in with regards to East Germany? Definitely the 1980s. Is the AK-47 real? It is not. Can I put a photo of you in my helmet? Sure, go ahead. Do you ever plan on showing World War I era uniforms or possibly more modern uniforms? I kind of sort of have a World War I German uniform. It's alright. It's a little bit inaccurate though because the collar is not the right color. The helmet isn't the right color. It's also not the right model. I didn't know it was an M18 repro, so I'm planning on actually getting an original M16 shell and getting that refurbished, so it is a little bit less farb. Are you interested in any history before the Second World War? Yes, plenty. The most common two military-wise for me are World War I and the interwar period.
The interwar period came with a lot of interesting things that were non-military related, such as the Prohibition. The interwar period came with a lot of political tensions that are really essential to know about in terms of modern history, such as what was going on in Germany in the 1920s and 30s, and what was going on in Russia after the First World War. Everything was a complete mess everywhere on the planet during this time.
How long have you been serious about collecting militaria? Since June of this year. So not very long, you guys. I'm trying my best. Which Soviet main battle tank is your favorite?
My favorite Soviet MBT is the T-55, as basic as that may be. I just decided on it when I was like 12 and it's stuck with me. As I have said in my last Q&A, it is very tanky. Just looks like how a tank should look.
Are you planning to make videos dedicated to different camouflage patterns? Yes, of course. I have actually already made one and I do plan on making more. When did you figure out that you found a pretty big niche in the online military history sphere? 25.9k in a very short period with only 9 videos, half of which are shorts. Pretty impressive. Like, about half a year ago or so. I don't know how I found out. I was just doing my thing. Aside from East Germany, what other countries' history are you most interested in? Russia and Germany stay number 1 in my book, unfortunately. If you had a time machine, which time period would you like to visit the most? I think you mean which country and which period, and in that case, I would definitely say Germany or Hungary in the 1980s. What cap/helmet/whatever was your first one? It was this one, of course. Love East Germany. Favorite US uniform? I really like the standard infantry uniforms from the Vietnam War.
I'm also a fan of the Dodel uniforms from World War I and the World War II paratrooper uniforms.
Hello, I would like to ask, will you make a video on the Stasi and the KGB? As I'm really interested in these two intelligence agencies, and also love from Australia, bye. I'm definitely planning to make videos on all two eventually. All two? What the hell? Both eventually. Do you enjoy this hobby with people in your personal life, or is it more online based? My family loves and supports me in everything I do. And as a result, they're usually interested in what I'm doing and what I'm learning about, so I tell them. My dad has, taken an interest in it because he actually really likes being able to see all the guns. So that's his whole thing. He's really excited about it. But really, other than that, I don't really have any friends that do this stuff or anything like that. I'm just kind of lone wolf in it for the most part. But I have you guys, so it's not that bad, trust me. In your most recent video, I was surprised about your comments on the Jodhpur and DDR uniforms, especially the flare Jodhpur of the prior decade. Are they comfortable? Yeah, kinda, mostly. Is it because the bottleneck and the taper accommodates high leg boots better? It definitely really does help. I think it makes the wearer look like a turkey. I don't see the point of them. Maybe you, with more experience, know better. Well, the only reason that these were worn is because of cavalry. So it did stay in tradition because it was traditional military attire. The Jodhpurs, the flared thighs. And I just think it looks cool as hell, honestly. Like, do you think you'll ever make a video on drone camouflage patterns or uniforms of the Second World War? Absolutely on both of those. Like the different SS/Wehrmacht camo patterns/ uniforms. I'm going to be straying away from SS. How many languages do you speak, and which one is, in your opinion, the hardest? I speak 2, Hungarian and English. Hungarian is extremely difficult. I was born speaking it, and I have trouble speaking it sometimes, guys. And finally, what is your CIA employee number? That's a secret.
Thank you guys once again for all the kind words and all the great questions. I'm really sorry I didn't get to answer many of them. Don't forget to use my promo code OFICER-AMIRA for 10% off of your entire order at War Militaria. And a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters for making the channel even more possible. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!